WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. The Columbus 2% restaurant tax is set to expire next year, and right now leaders are scrambling, trying to figure out a plan of renewal. It's a topic that could come up at tonight's City Council meeting. Our Scott Martin joins us live in Columbus with more on what they're talking about.
Joey, the current proposal would give the Golden Triangle Development Link $250,000, and the rest would go to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. However, the City Council wants to change that plan before signing off on the deal. The city's requesting a portion of the tax money that is collected through the tax to go to its Park and Recreation Department after the Columbus Lowndes Recreation Authority was dissolved by the county. City leaders also want a voting majority on the CVB board. Now tonight, the City Council is supposed to talk about this and decide on what to do to move forward and hopefully reach a compromise before that bill is sent to the legislature. Again, that is supposed to be added to the agenda at tonight's council meeting. We haven't heard them talk about it just yet. If the 2% restaurant tax is going to stay in effect, it would have to be approved in this legislative session. The session begins in January and ends in May. For now, reporting live in Columbus, Scott Martin, WCBI News.
That City Council being held at MUW tonight. Now, Lowndes County supervisors took up the restaurant tax Monday. The split decision of 3-2 vote by the board may approve the resolution, but the decision could jeopardize the bill's fate in Jackson. WCBI's Parker King speaks with Joe Max Higgins at the link, and he joins us live in the studio with more. Parker.
We're talking about nearly $2 million that stands to go away. However, Link leaders believe there is a way to keep the restaurant tax.
A couple weeks ago, Nancy and I approached the City Council and the supervisors, reminding them that the tax expired, and gave them a sample go-by resolution and a sample go-by bill that we thought would work.
The resolution presented gives the Golden Triangle Link a guaranteed $250,000 per year to help continue bringing business to the area. About $1.6 million would go to the Columbus Lowndes Convention Visitors Bureau to continue bringing people to the area. The recent split decision between supervisors could shorten the resolution's lifespan in Jackson.
That's not the law that it has to be unanimous, but the practicality is it needs to be, because the legislatures don't want to solve local fights and problems.
The plan is to try and have the bill in the Capitol before the holiday season. And Higgins says there's still time for compromise.
If this thing's not resolved by Tuesday of this week or Wednesday of this week or Monday of next week, that doesn't mean all is lost. You know, at some point in time, though, we will have to come together. If we're going to do it, we will have to come together and develop a plan, get behind it and work it, and then send it down to Jackson.
A worst-case scenario, however, puts a dent in the county's economic development.
If for some reason they can't come to resolution, the tax will expire in July of this coming year, and it'll have an adverse impact on us and our budget. It'll have a devastating effect on the CVB.
And the CVB has not returned our call for comment.
In other news, there is a special election today in Oktibbeha County and portions of Clay and Lowndes counties. Our Jory Talley spent time in Starkville today, where turnout has been steady at the polls.
Voters are casting their votes for 5 different races, including the hospital referendum, the circuit and chancery clerk races, District 1 constable, and also the House of Representatives for District 38. Voters started waiting in line to cast their votes before 7 this morning at this South Starkville voting precinct.
We've had somebody voting the whole time here until about 11:15, so we've had about 800 people through this morning. Based on my experience, moderate to above average turnout today.
This voting precinct is one of the largest in Oktibbeha County. 10 voting machines line the floor, and voter after voter cast their votes.
I feel it's important to, have my voice heard. Being a member of the community is important to me, and be able to let everybody know that, voting is important, and if you're going to make change, then you got to be able to vote for change.
Many voters say the future of the OCH hospital is one race that's bringing many voters to the polls.
You feel like you really have a personal interest in it. especially because of the hospital, whether you're for or against. The hospital's going to be there. So I think it's important to voice what you believe.
Well, it's just been here for years and years. I think it's been here for 40 years, around 40 years. And people that have been used to it want to keep it. And some of us do, some of us don't. It's a mixed bag, I think.
Be sure to follow WCBI News for all of the latest election information. Reporting in Starkville, Jory Talley, WCBI News.
Our Andrea Self is following some of those races from what will soon be Election Central, the Oktibbeha County Courthouse. She joins us live with the latest from that complex. Andrea?
Joey, voters have a little less than an hour to get out to the polls to cast votes. Polls, of course, close at 7 o'clock. Now, voters here in Oktibbeha County are making a lot of decisions today. They will be choosing a representative for the House District 38 seat. Of course, that was left vacant when Representative Tyrone Ellis retired earlier this year. Also, they will be choosing a new Chancery clerk here, also a new circuit clerk in Oktibbeha County. There's a constable's race also on the ticket. And then that issue that has been controversial, quite frankly, here in Oktibbeha County, whether to sell the county-owned hospital, Osage Regional Medical Center. So all of those things being decided here tonight. When the polls close at 7 o'clock, the workers at the 20 precincts across Oktibbeha County will begin tallying votes at the individual precincts. Those numbers will be brought here to the circuit clerk's office, to the courthouse here in Oktibbeha County. All of those will be tallied. I'm also told more than 600 absentee ballots have already been cast in this election. Those will be counted tonight. Any affidavit ballots that were cast during today will be counted in the morning. We, of course, will have all of those election results coming up for you coming up at 9 and at 10, and of course on our website, WCBI.com. Live in Columbus, live in Oktibbeha County, that is. Joey, back to you in the studio.
All right, and to follow up on what Andrea just talked about, when the polls close at 7, the work isn't over. Election workers usually end up working until midnight, closing voting machines, collecting items at precincts, and counting absentee ballots when polls close and machines are put up. Everything is taken to Election Central, right there where Andrea was at the circuit court complex. Information books from each precinct are examined, and of course the votes are counted.
This is where we upload the cards, the memory cards into the machine to count those, to upload the votes, and we also scan those absentee ballots. Once that is done, everything will be returned to the ballot bag and it will be resealed.
Once 4 precincts are in, totals will be announced to the public in the courtroom. Time now to turn our attention to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson joins us with a first look at your forecast. Keith?
Joey, right now we are overcast. We've got some falling temperatures, slowly falling, but temperatures falling nonetheless across our region. 50s and 60s, even a few 70s southeast of Columbus right now. So as of 6:08, we've got 50s up north, still 70 in Macon, 70s down farther south as well, but 66 in Columbus. And notice how the temperatures will continue to cool as we go throughout the course of the overnight hours. By the time we wake up, low to mid 50s across our region, so not terribly cool tonight. Rain chances limited, not a lot going on. Those rain chances will increase perhaps tomorrow evening. Full forecast in just a few minutes.
After being given a ride, a Columbus man is accused of stealing a vehicle and leading deputies on a chase. Lowndes County Chief Deputy Mark Miley says a deputy spotted the stolen vehicle on Highway 373. When the deputy approached the vehicle, 18-year-old Dylan Langford drove away. The pursuit continued south into North Columbus. Law enforcement spiked the tires of the stolen vehicle, and the chase ended at a gas station near Blue Cut Road and Highway 45. Investigators say the owner of the vehicle gave Langford a ride and let him stay with her. When she went inside the store, he took off with her car. Langford is charged with felony taking of a motor vehicle and fleeing and eluding law enforcement. A Eupora man dies after his SUV crashed in Choctaw County this morning. The Mississippi Highway Patrol says 54-year-old Gerald Dodd's Toyota RAV4 crossed the southbound lane of Highway 9. Troopers say the vehicle then went into a ditch and hit an embankment about 10:40 near McMullen Road. Dodd was the only person in the vehicle. He died at the scene. His death and the crash remain under investigation. New Hope High School remembers a student killed in a wreck this past weekend. Blue balloons became hard to see as they flew high in the gray sky, and tears fell on the ground just outside the school this morning. 16-year-old Antavis Petty was killed when the vehicle he was riding in was hit from behind. Teammates, friends, and family were there for the balloon release. Petty's football coach Chris Pickle talked about the slow healing process and the young boy's smile. Petty was known for being a class clown and good friend and always having a smile on his face.
Just to have the balloon release was something that the kids wanted to do, and just to see the kids care, it just shows you how much he meant to the school and how much he meant to the student body here at New Hope.
Petty's funeral is scheduled for noon on Saturday at New Hope High School. Some area veterans get a special homecoming 40 years later. We'll explain when we come back.
WCBI election coverage is brought to you by Carl Hogan Honda. Pick it out here, carlhoganhonda.com, and pick it up here, Carl Hogan Honda.
Welcome back, everyone. Veterans Day is just days away, and Mississippi State is honoring a special group of soldiers. A welcome home ceremony was held this morning for veterans of the Vietnam War. Many of these men and women didn't receive a homecoming when they came back. Organizers wanted to recognize soldiers for putting their lives on the line during the conflict. Organizers say Vietnam veterans weren't always thought of as heroes because the war was controversial.
We're losing, just as the World War II and the Korean veterans, our Vietnam veterans, we're losing them as well, and we wanted to be able to show them that homecoming that they never received, to be able to welcome them home for doing the job that they went out to do to serve their country.
Vietnam veteran and former director of the Golden Triangle Regional Airport, Lieutenant Colonel Gene Smith, was today's guest speaker. East Mississippi Community College is also honoring those who have served. Dozens of people filled the auditorium this morning for the college's annual Proud to be an American Day. The theme of the event was paying tribute to the U.S. Air Force and Columbus Air Force Base. Base Commander Colonel Douglas Gosney was the guest speaker. This is the Air Force's 70th anniversary. In 1942, the first 100 enlisted men arrived at what is now Columbus Air Force Base.
A little batch of showers near Starkville and Columbus, moving basically from west to east here. So a little bit of rain potential here this evening tonight. Maybe a little bit more widespread rain around here in about 24 hours. The full forecast is next.
Our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
17 named tropical systems in the Atlantic so far this year. The latest, Rena, this formed yesterday, and we still have Tropical Storm Rena way out here across the Atlantic, sustained wind at 45. This is really just affecting the shipping lanes and spots way out here across the open Atlantic. So no threat to land, but there's the path over the next 48 hours. It will weaken, and then we will be done with Rena. But right now, we actually do have some showers moving through parts of Oktibbeha County, southeast of Starkville, just west and southwest of Columbus, and some additional showers trying to blossom here in northwestern Mississippi. Even a few isolated thunder showers out here across eastern Arkansas. A little subtle disturbance moving from west to east. So we still have the chance for a little bit of rain this evening, tonight, and even tomorrow morning, but a better rain chance overall in the region in about 24 hours. Down to 59 in Tupelo, we actually had a high this morning of 72. Those northerly winds, though, now at 14 miles per hour. Columbus a little bit warmer, 66. North wind at about 9 miles per hour. The front moved through midday, and you can see we've got 50s and 60s across our region. Down into the mid-50s tonight, mainly cloudy again, spotty showers possible. Winds from the north at 5 to 15 miles per hour. A little bit cooler north, a little bit warmer south. There could be some rain around the region, but no widespread event expected tonight. And for our day tomorrow, your Wednesday, widespread 50s, a shot at some low 60s in our southern counties, but a much, much cooler day than what we've been used to. You can see some subtle little disturbances back to the west here, and some of those could kick off some of that rain later tonight and also for tomorrow night. We will be programming weather radios again and talking weather at our severe weather awareness event Tuesday. Actually, Today is Tuesday. How about Thursday, November 9th in Louisville, Walgreens in Louisville. It's a good thing we got a backup, right? All right, come on down and see us. We'll see you there in Louisville. All right, you can see some of these disturbances back down to the southwest and just a little bit of disturbed weather coming our way. And each one of those little subtle disturbances could squeeze out a shower as we go throughout the next 24 to 36 hours. So here's Futurecast. The big picture shows that bigger disturbance coming on in as we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. There's going to be a shield of rain somewhere in the region, and then we'll clear it out nicely as we get into Thursday and the end of the work week. So there will be no issues for high school football this week or those college games. It's looking great Friday and Saturday, more sunshine. Cooler tomorrow, upper 50s, a chance for some afternoon and evening showers.
All right, thanks, Keith. Coming up, coaching news in high school football as one of our biggest area schools will be searching for a new head coach. That's next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The newest college football playoff rankings just released. Here's what the top 25 looks like. Georgia, Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson is your top 4. Nothing changes there. Auburn's in the top 10. MSU staying put at 16, so it will be number 2 and number 16 facing off against one another coming up Saturday in Starkville. Speaking of rankings, the NJCAA Top 20 had a big change this week. Look who's number 1, EMCC. All the Lions have to do is beat Northwest this Saturday in Senatobia, and they'll play for a national championship once again. Computers really helping out the Lions. So honestly, the EMCC Northwest game probably going to decide who's going to play in the national title from the state of Mississippi. ICC all the way up to 14 now in the newest Top 20 poll. To high school football, startling news in coaching as Columbus High has decided to part ways with Randall Montgomery after 4 seasons as head coach. Montgomery confirmed with WCBI that he won't be returning to Columbus, but said he was not given a reason why he was not renewed by Columbus High. Montgomery was 20-26 in his 4 seasons as head coach of the Falcons, including an 8-4, 6-1, 20-15 season. That was the best season in over a decade at the school. Montgomery was hired by Columbus in 2014 after 3 straight state championship appearances as Hazelhurst, and will undoubtedly not have any trouble finding a new coaching job very soon. Now to our games of the week. We continue our multiple spotlight game run with a duo of games featuring Pontotoc County schools. Our game of the week, HQ on Friday, will be Houston visiting Ecro to take on North Pontotoc. And then our other game of the week will be Pontotoc taking the trip north to face the Corinth Warriors. Everyone from here on out is in the playoffs. We're in week 13 of high school football. Corinth comes in as a 3 seed. Pontotoc, top seed from Region 2 4A, while Houston, the 2 seed from Region 4 3A. They'll face off the top seed from North Pontotoc. Out of the top seed, they were from Region 1 3A. We will be live from North Pontotoc at 5 and 6 on Friday and have reports from Pontotoc at Corinth coming up on WCBI Sports. To our signing day circuit, we start at Eupora today. The Eagles sent 4 of their star senior baseball and softball players to the next level. With the Lady Eagles, pitcher Delton Newman and catcher Savannah Kilpatrick signed to continue their careers at EMCC. Newman has grown into one of the best on the circle in our area, with Kilpatrick continuing to develop as a top player behind the plate. And then with the Eagle baseball team, Tanner Knight and Al Dumas signed to continue their diamond dreams at East Central. Dumas became one of the best hitters and fielders in the state a season ago, batting .512 with a perfect fielding percentage, while Knight lit it up on the mound with a 1.02 ERA in 12 appearances with the Eagles. Foursome spoke of what it's like to be attending JUCO with their best friend.
It's really good. I'm so excited that we can go together because we're like, pitcher-catcher duo, and it's really good that we get to go together and experience this together.
It's pretty great. I mean, I'll know somebody down there, and we're already a team together, so it'd be great pitching and catching for us.
It's real cool. We've been best friends since 9th grade, and we still get to continue to play together.
That's awesome. I can't wait for it. We're going to be together. We're going to get the room together, and it's just going to be awesome.
And lastly, a Tupelo group of 4 also headed JUCO. Harrison Daniels, Preston Maddox, Clayton O'Daniel, and Josh White will play soccer at ICC following graduation. O'Daniel led the Wave in goals. Harrison Daniels patrolled the midfield. Josh White, a dependent left back. And Preston Maddox, a top keeper for the Tupelo Golden Wave. Congratulations to all 4 moving on to the next level. That's it for sports. Last look at your forecast is coming up.
All right, some showers out there this evening. Pretty spotty nature, but we may see a little bit of that tonight. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, that bigger shield of rain may move across the area tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. And that's some nice weather as we close out the work week and get into your Veterans Day on Saturday.
We need to dry out.
It's been kind of gloomy. A lot of folks have been asking me, when's the sun coming back out? Thursday afternoon at least.
Looking forward to it. Also have a ton of ant hills.
Oh, yes, they are a problem.
With all this rain.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Keith. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.